Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year. I hope you guys are having a wonderful year so far. So, pardon my French, but I think it goes without saying that 2020 was a shit year, okay? With the new year, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we would be able to travel more. So I created a whole blog post on this. So I'm going to talk about my travel plans for this year, 2021. So if you are not following my blog already, it will be in the description box down below. You just click on it, and if you follow me through email, then you will get 2 freebies. There are 2 packing lists. I'm in the process of working on some other digital goodies for my blog, but at the moment, if you do follow it, you will get those 2 freebies. You can download it. They're packing lists that you can use for any future travels that you may do. So I think you should hop on that. But let's get started. First plan that I have for travel is Utah. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy. I really hope that this one can come to pass because it will be my first solo trip ever. I'm just going to spend a few days there checking out the national parks and whatnot. So I really hope that this one can happen in a few months. I'm thinking around April for my trip for a couple of reasons. I mean, the first reason being is that I do have a full-time job. Unfortunately, I don't do this full-time, so I really need to accrue my PTO to use for the trips that I have planned out for the rest of the year. The second being, because of this pandemic, I really don't see international traveling happening that often, so my traveling is going to be restricted to only here in the USA, and I've pretty much traveled to most of the states here on the East Coast. I have a few more to go, but I'm going to start making my way out west, and I thought, what better place to start than Utah? I took to Twitter and I asked a lot of people if I could go to one of the states here for a solo trip, which state would I go to? And a lot of people said Utah, so that's where I'm heading. Well, I created a whole blog post on it so you could read a little bit more in depth as to why I chose these specific spots. I'm just going to touch on it just slightly here. I don't want to make this too long. Next place I have in mind is England. No, it is not a new country. Yes, I've been to England before, but there's still so many locations within England that I haven't been to. I never went to Stonehenge. I never went to Brighton. I would love to go to Manchester. Like, the possibilities are endless, and England's going to be one of those countries that I will find myself going back to over and over and over again. I absolutely love it. So I'm hoping that later on this year I will be able to go. If not, that is okay. I've already been there, but you know, fingers crossed. I'm thinking probably around summertime-ish, maybe May, June, July, something like that. So hopefully by that time later on this year, we can be able to travel internationally again, but I'm not gonna get my hopes up if we can't, but it's still on my list, definitely. The next location is Ohio. Ohio, of course, is another state I've been to a couple of times now. I say 2-3 times now. My friend Jen, who I met when I studied abroad in London about 5-6 years ago now, lives in Ohio, and we kind of make it a tradition where I go to Ohio to meet up with her and just spend a few days with her, and then we go on a weekend trip together as best friends. Unfortunately, in 2020 that couldn't happen because of COVID, but I'm hoping that later on this year I can make it back to Ohio. Maybe we could take like a little weekend trip somewhere along the way. But Ohio, from where I live currently in Pennsylvania, it's like a 5.5 to 6 hour car ride, so I would think I would drive there. Number one, you know, I just kind of want to limit the amount of money I'm spending on airline tickets, and because of the place where she lives in Ohio is very small, the airport's small, but I found that the ticket prices are expensive than like Cincinnati or Columbus or maybe like another airport. Next on my list is a road trip. So I would love to go through Massachusetts and then make my way up to Vermont and then all the way back down to where I live in Pennsylvania. I'm thinking about doing this sometime in maybe September, October, when it's fall time here. The fall foliage in New England is absolutely beautiful. It is breathtaking, and I would love to have the chance to make it to go out there and just explore what Massachusetts and Vermont has to offer. And I've been to Massachusetts before. I've been to South Lee, which is kind of on the other side of the state. It's not close to the coast. I would love to go to Boston, Massachusetts, maybe Salem, because of course, haha, which is like, that's my vibe. I'm all about that good stuff. Next we have Arizona. Of course, I cannot make it out west and not visit Arizona at some point. Like, number one, the Grand Canyon, of course. And number two, my boyfriend's stepsister lives out there in Arizona. So I was figuring maybe around December it would be like a nice time to kind of get together with them. This place is something that I did mention, what was it? I think it was my travel haul. I purchased a few things and I said that I would be using this for my trip to Las Vegas. Unfortunately, that never happened because of the pandemic and whatnot. My friend decided not to go forward with the trip, so unfortunately I canceled as well. I could have gone out there by myself, but Las Vegas is just the type of place where I feel like it would be better if you go with other people than by yourself. But if you wanted to go and solo travel there, more power to you. But yes, Las Vegas is another location on my list. I was supposed to go there in December of 2020. Didn't happen. I'm hoping this year we can go. Fingers crossed. There may be one more location. My cousin in Jamaica said that he's getting married, I think in December. So maybe Jamaica, maybe, not quite sure. I really have to see how all of this plays out with my PTO, my personal time that I have throughout the whole year. But anyways, yeah, those are the places that I am planning on going to in 2021. Now the key word here is plan. I am planning on going to these places, meaning that I have these locations in mind. I'm going to be doing my research. However, normally I would book the flights and everything months in advance, but because of the pandemic, I'm not going to be booking anything that far in advance because you just don't know what's going to happen nowadays. So if everything still looks good, and as long as the US doesn't go into like another lockdown or anything like that, or that specific state that I'm traveling to doesn't impose any, restrictions or whatnot, I'm going to be trying to do like purchasing flights and, accommodations maybe 3 to 4 weeks in advance. But, if it doesn't happen, that is okay. If the USA goes into another lockdown, that is fine too. Then I will just have to put off my travel plans again until it is safe to travel. And be on the lookout for another video. Like I said, the first trip I'm hoping to take this year is my first ever solo trip to Utah. And I've already done some research on it, and I left a section blank so that way I can show you guys what I actually do when I'm researching my my travel trips. So be on the lookout for that. But thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. It should be a quick one. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and click the bell to receive notifications of when I upload new videos. And yes, I do have other videos coming. I still have videos from my New Orleans trip, from when I went to Graffiti Pier. They're coming. Slowly but surely they will come. I hope this year can bring better opportunities and better times for us, not only in terms of travel, but just with our personal lives and our mental health. So, see ya!